Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It's Friday, May 8th, and I got out here as fast as I could after work and a quick little cat nap. And I'm going to check on 3 hives real quick. Hives 11, 12, and 13, they're right here over my left shoulder. 11 is that double-decker nuke, 12 is the one right next to it that's got 1 honey super, and 13 is a single deep right there. So the story on 11, it's a virgin queen that I found on May 1st, and today's the 8th, so I'm going to check her and see if she's laying. And the backstory on that queen is I made that split by cutting a swarm cell off a frame in hive number 4 and pressed it into the comb and put it in there. She emerged the very next day, and she was in there on May 1st, so we're going to see if she's laying yet. Hive number 12, that's the one that's got 1 honey super on it right there with the brick sticking up. So that had 2 swarm cells on April 26th. Actually, prior to April 26th, I found the queen, moved her out, did the artificial swarm split, left 2 swarm cells. I checked them on April 26th, and when I opened it up or lifted a frame, I broke one of those cells. So there was only 1 left. It's been 12 days since I'd done that. So that last remaining queen cell should be emerged, and we should find evidence of a queen in there, virgin queen. Probably not laying yet, but I just want to see that that cell's open and cut on the bottom and it's been emerged. Number 13 was a 2-year-old queen. She was failing. Last I was in there, April 30th, I couldn't find her, and I found 1 supersedure cell. And I've reduced that down from a nuke to a double deep to a single deep. So that queen, she had been failing, and I didn't find her. So I need to see if that supersedure cell actually is cut out on bottom and has emerged, and look for a queen in there. And it was on frame number 7. So that's the good thing about taking good notes, is you can go back and figure out, wow, that sun's bad. You can figure out what's going on inside your hive and know what you're looking for when you go in. So none of these queens will be marked when we're looking for them. They should be virgin queens. Let's get started. Okay, here's hive 11 entrance. Not seeing a lot of activity out there. It's a little concerning. May just be because of the chilly weather. But, let's get in there and see what we find. So I had so many bees in this split. They were crowded. So I added this second nuke box on here. I don't see any bees up here. I think this hive has failed. Well, they're all down here. So, well, that's weird. As many bees as there were, I figured some would be working up in this top. Yeah, they're not interested in that. Well, let's see how they're doing. There's quite a few bees right there. So right here I have the letters TP and a dot. So that's where my transplant cell was that emerged. And there was a blue dot there. There was a queen cell right there. But I had seen a virgin queen in here. Lots of bee bread on that. So on May 1st is when I saw the virgin queen. Today's the 8th. Lots of nectar here. And right in here is where that queen cell was. It was on this. Boy, I wish all my bees would be this chilled out when I inspected them. So here's a frame with some brood left on it from the split. This isn't from that queen. Oh, there she is right there on top of this frame. I about overlooked her. Right there. Looks like she's mated. So I'd say we're good to go on this hive. There may be some eggs in some of these empty cells in here that she's laid. I don't see any, but she looks like she's about ready to start laying. I'm going to look on this next frame for an egg or two real quick. That's mostly brood. There's no room for her to lay on there. And right here's my transplant mark. And right there, looks like I put it right here. I thought it was up higher, but maybe not. Well, let's get her put back up. There's definitely room up in the top of this for her to come up and start laying if they were to move up there. Okay, one for one. Let's get into number 12 and check it out. Not much weight to this honey super. Smoker is not wanting to cooperate today. Hopefully I won't need very much of it. So there was one queen cell in here. I got blue dots right here, so that's where it was. Right there is my blue dot from my queen marking pen. So that'll help me know which year I marked that, so I don't get all my dots confused. It doesn't look like it matters which side I start on, they're about the same. I try to start on the side that's got the least amount of population and one that's not real fat with a lot of honey on it, you know. Good amount of honey. Good amount of honey on that frame and nectar. So we should be looking for about the same size queen, unmarked. Hopefully we find a new mated queen. Still got uncapped or a capped brood here from the split. There's a bee emerging right there. Another one right there. Looks like we may have had a queen emerge right here. This cool temperature, these frames don't slide around very easy in that propolis. It's thick and hard. I'll take it though. Beats 90 degrees any day. So this is a prime laying frame. Got all these shiny little cells here in the middle. They got all polished up with the nectar around the outside, just waiting for a queen to load it up. Same thing on this side. Probably the next frame is even better. I haven't seen any pollen yet. Okay, here's our frame with the dot. So really what we're looking for is to see that cell naturally opened. First a queen real quick. Okay, trying to see our queen cell. I'm not seeing it. There are cups here. Well, I don't see a naturally opened queen cell, but I see where some cups were on that same location. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. Let's go ahead through the rest of this top, look for our queen. Okay, there's a lot of bees in this bottom box, and they're a little agitated, so I didn't even bother pulling that last frame. So I've either overlooked the queen or she hasn't survived her mating flight, but I didn't see any queen cells remaining. So let's get this put back together, and just note we need to come back in a week and look for eggs, or look for evidence of the queen if we don't find her. And that's it for this one. So let's get on over to 13 and see if we find one in there. Okay, hive number 13. Hopefully it's lucky 13. So this hive was a double deep, and I put a honey super on it, and their population just wasn't doing what it needed to do. The queen wasn't laying hardly any eggs, and she started putting out spotty brood, and I noted this, that it needed requeened, and next time I checked it out she wasn't in here, and I found one supersedure cell on frame number 7. 10, 9, 8, 7. There's my blue dot right there. So let's just start on number 10 over here and go that direction. There's not a lot of bees in this hive. Most of the population's right in here. Some good bee bread. And there's honey. I took 5 full frames of honey out of here because it was strong coming out of winter, and I put them in a deep box over there on another hive that I'm using for a honey super, because I ran out of 6-inch supers. A little bit of nectar. This frame's got a lot of pollen and nectar on it. They're not hurting for food stores at all. Like I said, this thing was really strong coming out of winter. They had plenty of food. That 2-year-old queen, she just played out. Actually, it would have been her 3rd season. Okay, here's the frame we're looking for with our supersedure cell on it. So that was April 30th. I saw that, and this is May 8th. So it should be emerged if it was a viable cell. And of course I don't see it. I'm kind of looking for a queen because a lot of times they hang out on the same frame that they emerged from. If I remember right, it was down in here. Check the other side real quick and we'll come back to it. Well, let's see if we can spot where it was at. My mark is right here, so it should be like right down in here. Man, I don't see anything remotely resembling a queen cell. So it's gone. May have been right in there. There's no brood in here either that I've seen yet left over. So we're in danger of laying worker getting started up in here if we don't have a queen. Okay, so no queen that I found. They sure are fanning a lot, so I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say this is a queenless hive. Well, we're 1 for 3. That's a lot of footage for not much excitement there. So we're still gonna have to come back into all 3 of these because this one wasn't laying. Didn't find a queen. I think there's a queen in here the way this hive acted. That one I'm thinking there's not. So tomorrow I'm going to doing on-the-spot queen rearing on here. I'll find a frame of eggs in one of these other hives that has a frame with fresh laid eggs. I'll take my hive tool and I'll notch the frame and put that in here and see if they pull down a queen. If they do, you know there wasn't a queen. If they leave it alone, then you know there's one in there. So they need some brood in here anyway, because they've been a long time without any brood. And when that happens, after a while, those worker bees will start laying eggs. And that's a laying worker hive, and that's a bad situation, and you don't want to get into that. That takes a lot of time and resources to fix. So if that did happen, I probably would just combine it with another one of these single deep hives over here and get that over with and just let this spot go. But anyway, that is it for this video. Give me a thumbs up and check us out on the next one, and be sure and subscribe before you leave. Y'all take care.